This is what Russia says is within its sovereign right to do: hold military drills in the southwestern region neighboring Ukraine. These drills were held on Wednesday as representatives of Russia and NATO met in Brussels for talks on security, the first in nearly 3 years. Since late last year, the West has been concerned by Russia building up a force of nearly 100,000 soldiers near Ukraine, demanding that Washington pledge never to let Ukraine join the 30-member military alliance, or expand it eastwards, a point the United States refuses to accept. And at the opening session of the world's biggest security conference, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, a stark warning from the incoming chairman.
The risk of war in the OSCE area is now greater than ever before in the last 30 years. For several weeks, we have been faced with a possibility of a major military escalation in Eastern Europe.
While the Polish foreign minister went on to warn that tensions could upend the post-Cold War order on the continent, Moscow continues to maintain it has no intention of attacking Ukraine.
We should abandon a vicious cycle of treating Russia as the enemy. We propose mechanism of agreement, consultation, etc. Our written ideas for the American side and for the NATO alliance are aimed at preventing this scenario through diplomacy, consultations, and not through raising tensions and the use of military instruments.
This follows high-level talks between NATO and Russia in Brussels on Wednesday, where the two sides clearly did not have a positive outcome after a 4-hour meeting. President Vladimir Putin's spokesperson has called this week's talks unsuccessful. The Kremlin says that if the United States were to impose sanctions on President Putin, it would be comparable to severing ties with Russia. It is now clear that dialogue and diplomacy have not bridged the gaps between Moscow and the West, but rather highlighted their unresolved differences. Dorsa Jabari, Al Jazeera.
Along Europe's eastern flank, the soldiers of the Ukrainian army are digging in. Over the horizon, Russia's military continues to mass 100,000 soldiers, and a week of diplomacy has delivered nothing but stalemate. Now the Americans say they believe Russia is looking for a reason to invade, and if they can't find one, they'll create one.
Well, this is straight out of the Russian playbook, to try to, through sabotage operations, through false flag operations, through blaming the other guy, to create that pretext, to give an excuse to go in, or to make it look like the Ukrainians were the aggressors, when in fact the first aggression was perhaps even done by Russians against Russians, to blame the Ukrainians. So it's all very dangerous in the way they operate.
Under 3 presidencies, Victoria Nuland has had a focus on Ukraine and Russia. She is now Under Secretary of State.
Just put this moment in context for us. How serious is it? How worried are you, and how worried should we be?
Well, Mark, it's extremely worrying. You know, a nation does not deploy 100,000 troops on the border of another nation and put its saboteurs inside the country without some malign and aggressive intent.
Russia insists that all this is part of an exercise. It has dismissed the false flag accusations as nonsense. Its diplomats say the aggressor is NATO, an alliance advancing east that must be countered.
NATO has no gripes with Russia unless Russia is coming for us. We've lived side by side since the end of the Cold War, some 30 years.
Is America prepared to go to war with Russia if it invades Ukraine?
What we are talking about here is helping the Ukrainians to defend themselves and preparing massive consequences, economic and political, for Moscow if it walks away from the diplomatic table and chooses aggression instead. And we all have to do that. We can't allow countries to change international borders by force. We'll have a free-for-all out there in the world.
But President Putin already did that. He did that in Crimea.
He did.
And we know from history that sanctions don't tend to work. So, you know, if they do invade, what then? That question hasn't been answered. What will you, America, do if Russia goes ahead and invades, beyond sanctions?
What we're preparing this time is far more severe and painful for Russia economically in terms of its potential complete economic isolation from the global financial system, as well as its political isolation.
The good news is that neither side has ditched the diplomacy just yet. Talks continue at many levels, and soldiers on both sides of the border await orders. Mark Stone, Sky News.
Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, 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 family. First, I want to give all the praises and the glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash, and double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who are leading this word in truth and in spirit and sincerity. And salutations to all of the righteous Hebrew Israelite brothers out there that are teaching this word in the name of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. Shalom, shalom, shalom to my fellow Israelites out there, to the hopeful elect of the house of Israel. Shalom, family. As you can see, today's edification is called Russia Warns the Beast. Russia warns the beast about moving nuclear weapons further to the east. Further to the east. So, the scripture that comes to mind to me when I see all of what's going on right now is the book of Matthew. Is the book of Matthew chapter 24. That's the scripture that comes to mind to me, where Matthew says, let me just quickly read this out. Matthew says here, get this out, Matthew 24. Okay, so Matthew chapter 24. Verse 7, the scripture says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows." And I really should have started a verse up. Let me reread that again. Salaki family. Matthew 24, verse 6. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And see ye that ye be not troubled. Be not troubled. Why? For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So all these things must come to pass. So what we are seeing here, just on the map here, we are seeing the Russians up the top here in the north that are warning the beast. The beast is over here. This is the beast here. Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, the United Kingdom, Italy, Austria, Switzerland, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Lithuania, Latvia, Bulgaria, Romania. These are the beast. And who's the head of the beast? The United States of America. This is NATO. This is NATO and all of its NATO allies that you see here to the left, to the west, what we call the West. This is all the beast here. And America is the head of the beast. As we know, Russia is Gog and Magog, also known as the Medes. So the Russians have warned the beast, which is NATO and its powers, about putting any nuclear weapons east into their border. Ukraine borders Russia. So Belarus is part of the coalition of countries that are part of Russia's kind of coalition. Kazakhstan, where we saw the uprising a few weeks ago, is part of the Russian coalition. Turkmenistan is part of the Russian coalition, right? Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, these are all part of Russia's, what they call the OCTS. It's a coalition of Eastern ex-Soviet Union blocs that are all coalition together. And remember, Russia's going to bring a coalition against the West, against the beast. And that coalition will include Turkey, Goma and Togama, Iran, also known as Persia in the Bible, Libya, Ethiopia, which is below Egypt, which will be, and also China will be on the side of the Russians in the war. But what we are seeing now, just so that you don't get this twisted, get you understanding of what's going on. What we've seen happening now, these are the wars and rumors of wars. This is not the war. If Russia does invade Ukraine, this is not the war of Armageddon. This is not the war of all wars. This is not going to be the mother of all wars. This is just the rumors of wars. What you see happening here is, let me just bring it up on the screen. What we see happening now, the warnings that Russia are giving Europe, NATO, the beast. America is the head of that beast. She's the head of NATO. What we see happening here, what Yahweh Shai spoke of, Matthew 24:6. And we're just going to do this in the spirit today. Every now and then we've got to do the work in the spirit. Today we're just going to do it in the spirit. We're going to bring up some precepts in the spirit. So what we see happening here is just here, Matthew 24:6. And there shall be here of wars, rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. Be not troubled by what we are seeing going on, because these things must happen. For all these things must come to pass. These wars, these rumors of wars. So we see wars that are still going on in Syria. There's still a civil war going on in Libya. We've got wars and uprisings going on all through the continent of Africa, Congo, Kenya, Nigeria, Libya. We've got uprisings going on all through Africa. But the end is not yet, because the end is not going to come until the war of Armageddon comes into place. So what we see here, where is it? This is just the rumors of wars. The uprisings that we saw in Kazakhstan, these are just rumors of wars. The uprising that we saw in Belarus, these are all the rumors of wars. So if Russia does invade Ukraine, these are just part of Matthew 24:6, the rumors. This is not the war of Armageddon if Russia goes into Ukraine. What this is a precursor to what's going to happen down here. Because remember, the mother of all wars, the end is going to come when this war starts here. All right? Down in the north here. Right? Down in the south here. In this barren land. This is where the war of Armageddon is going to take place. This is just a precursor. Whether Russia invades Ukraine or not, it's just a precursor. What's happening is that we are seeing the word precursor, I brought up earlier, one that precedes and indicates the approach of another. So it precedes and indicates the approach of another. A precursor is defined as something that is led to the creation of something similar but new. So what is this going to lead to? If Russia does invade Ukraine, it's only going to lead to ties between Russia, which is in the land of the Medes, Gog and Magog. It's only going to lead to an increase, or should I say to a decrease of the ties between Russia and the beast. So the relationship will be at its worst when this war takes place. Just so you understand, these rumors of wars that we are seeing. Russia invades Ukraine, whether or not that happens, it's just going to lead to the increase, to the decrease of the relationship between Russia and NATO. And all of its NATO allies and America, which means when we get round to this stage here, all bets are off. So Russia is saying this to America right now. Russia warns it's run out of patience while doubling down on demands the US and NATO have said they won't accept. So Russia is warning NATO, the beast. This is beautiful. Everything we're seeing is beautiful, but it's all scriptural. It's all prophecy. While doubling down on demands the US and NATO have said they won't accept. So the beast has told Gog and Magog, the beast which is here, NATO, this is all NATO, Ireland, UK, France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Switzerland, Austria, no, Switzerland's neutral, so lucky, Belgium, Netherlands, which is Holland, Germany, Luxembourg, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, Hungary, Austria, Croatia, Slovenia, Bulgaria, Romania, Lithuania, Latvia, plus the United States. And yes, Turkey is a part of NATO, but I've said this before. Something's going to happen between the relationship of Turkey and NATO that's going to cause Turkey to be expelled from NATO. Because remember, in this final battle that's going to take place down here in Saudi Arabia, in this final battle, family, all right? Just remember, Turkey becomes a member of the coalition that Russia's going to put together alongside Iran, Syria, you know, Kazakhstan, all of these countries here, Libya, Ethiopia, China, they're all going to be together. So something will happen that will get Turkey expelled out of NATO. Now, why we know Turkey, that's in the land of Gomar and Togomar, will be part of the alliance of the Russians. So this is just a precursor. The relationship will be at its lowest if Russia invades, at its lowest. Now, yesterday in the Senate in America, this is mad. The Democrats voted down a bill that will stop Russia from opening their pipeline. They have 2 gas pipelines. Remember, Russia provides 40% of the gas for all of these countries in Europe. They get 40% of their liquid gas from Russia. Russia just finished building a second pipeline that doesn't go through Ukraine, that goes through here, the Black Sea, and goes all the way to Germany. Now, in America yesterday, the American Senate voted down making that a sanction. If Russia invades Ukraine, they voted down that they won't sanction that second gas pipeline to Germany. They won't cause Russia, they won't put sanctions on Russia turning on that pipeline that provides gas to Germany, directly to Germany, if Russia invades Ukraine. So that's off the table. They won't include that in any sanctions, right? This is what America voted against yesterday. They won't include that in sanctions. Why? Because they said they don't want to upset their NATO allies, because Russia provides 40% of liquid gas to Europe, to the beast. So imagine this. When this war starts down here, I can't see Russia keeping on that gas line, providing gas to their enemies. So NATO is not going to get involved in this war if Russia invades Ukraine. NATO are not going to get involved only by logistics. They're not going to get military involved in that, because Russia provides 40% of liquid gas to all of Europe. France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, Austria, Czech, Poland, all of these countries which are NATO allies. So that's why America said they won't use that as part of the sanctions. But I can't see when this war starts down here, which is the war of the mother of all wars, I can't see that gas line staying on. So let's bring out a couple of scriptures while we're here. We're doing a lot of talking. Let's bring out a couple of scriptures. We're going to do this. We're going to do this in the spirit. So we know. Where should we go to? We know biblical scripture, what we're waiting on. Let's go to the book of Joel first. Book of Joel chapter 3. So when the Lord says here, Joel chapter 3 verse 2, I will gather all the nations and I will bring them into the valley of Jehoshaphat. I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. Scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. All right, so where is that valley? That valley is, let's go back to the map, here. This is here, Saudi Arabia. That's the valley. That's the war of all wars. What's going on up here is just the wars and rumors of wars. This is Matthew 24:6 happening here. What's going to happen down here is Joel chapter 3, verse 2, where the Lord has gathered all of the nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat. They can't escape that. They cannot escape that. That's why none of the nations are able to get out of the Middle East, because of what the Lord has prophesied. Now, we also know, is it Joel chapter 2? Hold on, just 1 second. We're just getting through my scriptures here. Like I said, we're doing everything by the Spirit today. Sometimes we must do it by the Spirit to keep everyone right, to keep us fresh. So let's go to let's go to here, Joel chapter 3. We're going to go now to Joel chapter 2. But this is what we are seeing happening, but this is what we're waiting on, right? It's that war, war of all wars, the mother of all wars. So Joel chapter, is it down here? Yeah. Okay, so this is what we are seeing a lot of right now, right? Joel chapter 2, verse 8. And it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and old men shall dream dreams, and young men shall see visions. So we know the greatest vision, the greatest prophecy in the Bible is what? The destruction of Babylon the Great, the United States of America, right? The deliverance and the salvation of the children of Israel. So let's have a listen to this while we're here. Have I got it here? Yeah.
Hello, we're here on Witness This. I have Gage, Taylor, and Mateo. They have one thing in common. They're all related, brothers and sisters. This is kind of cool the way that it happened. They didn't have it at the same time. The dream that we're getting ready to go into kind of happened at different moments over the past, how long has it been? Year, 2 years, 3 years?
I was like the past month. Yeah,
So-
that was pretty recent.
So recent and about within the last year.
Yeah.
What the glitter phone is not my phone, it's my wife's, glitter colored. I'm reading out of Acts 2:17. Adonai says, in the last days I will pour out from my spirit upon everyone. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. So this is where normally Witness This, what you see on there is like Jesus stories, testimonies, supernatural, the cool. This is kind of cool too that all three of them had kind of similar dreams, visions. So do you mind kind of going into what you dreamed?
I was at a friend's house and we were gonna go for a run, and I could see like a New York style place in the background, and I just saw missiles and bombs raining down and like just a big huge mushroom cloud forming, and that's when I woke up.
So did you, what were you feeling at the time? Did you feel fear or did you feel comfort? You know,
I felt like I was about to die.
yeah. And I say that because in our dreams and visions that God gives us, you know, sometimes there's comfort there, you know, but with it being like a apocalypse type of scenario, you can I thought I'd ask just in case. I would have thought the same naturally also. Taylor, how about you?
Okay, so mine, I actually remember pretty well because it kind of scared me a little bit. So we were at home and we were all just relaxing, and I was talking with, I believe it was Caden, and the next thing I know, I'm by myself in this like white room, and I'm like, what just happened? Where the heck did my family go? Where did my house go? And I hear this big boom, and then the white room disappears. I'm standing on this little piece of land, and I'm surrounded by 360 view of clouds, and I see this mushroom cloud, and I'm like, and I wasn't even scared, because you think I would have been, but I wasn't. I just stood there and I watched, and I was like, what? I was confused. And then like this like shockwave came down, and I was like, the piece of land I was standing on, it was like super tall. So when the wave came, it knocked the land over, and I fell, and I kept falling. And then I landed in like, when I landed, it didn't hurt. I just sat there, and I looked around, and I saw debris, and I saw another mushroom cloud in the corner, and then all of a sudden it started to zoom out. And as it zoomed out, I saw a TV frame, and then it zoomed out again, and I was sitting in a restaurant, and I was watching it through a TV, and I was like, what? And I looked around, and it was perfectly fine outside. I was like, blue skies, debris on the TV. Then I walked outside, and as I walked outside, that's when I woke up.
So yours is kind of similar, but yet different from your bros. How about you, Matea?
I remember I was at my mom's house, and we were all sitting on the couch, and we're watching the news. And I didn't see any mushroom clouds or hear any bombs or anything like that, but I know I was watching the news, and it said, like, nuclear threat or something like that. And I remember I looked at Nick, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die. And I went outside, and like, I literally, when I woke up, I thought I was gonna like die, because it was that deep. I was like, wow, we're really gonna die from this nuclear bomb that's coming, and it was headed right towards us, and I was, yeah, very vivid.
So all three of you were kind of nuclear type?
Mine was nuclear,
if you were to describe it?
Nuclear.
Yeah. So the feeling you had was definitely fear,
Yeah.
urgency.
Because I woke up and actually felt like I was still in that dream, like I was gonna die from the nuclear.
So kind of similar to Gage's, and then Taylor's was kind of somewhat, I don't know, I don't want to call it peaceful, but the white room, you know. And
Yeah, I don't know what it means at all.
Yeah.
It was strange, and I woke up and I was kind of worried, because like with all the stuff that's going on now, I was like, what if that becomes real, man?
So, do you mind if I hit you guys with a tough question? I don't know where you're at with belief or non-belief or whatever, and don't feel obligated to answer this if you don't want to. But Gage, do you believe? Do you not believe? Are you atheist? Are you a believer? Or you in between?
I really don't know.
Don't know.
Like, yeah, I really don't know.
Okay, Taylor.
I believe.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Right on. Well, thank you so much for sharing your visions. It's pretty powerful to hear kind of the same somewhat type of theme dream from three brothers and sisters. And you didn't know that
I didn't know.
each other had the same
No.
dreams and visions, right?
No.
Like you literally just found out a few minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
I came out here surprised that it was you two. I was like, what? You guys had the dream? I was surprised.
Yeah. So we just kind of connected the dots. Actually, Krista, their mama, kind of connected the dots.
Well, as you can see, these dreams are coming more vivid. Those are two sisters and brothers from the same household. So they're all brothers and sisters, those three. The two sisters and the one brother, they're all from the same household. Experiencing that dream of what we consider the war of Armageddon, the war of destruction, what's coming, the war that's coming, the destruction of Babylon the Great, the nuclear destruction. So what did they see? They all dreamed the same dream happening in America, remember, happening in America. So I say again, the tensions that we see happening here are just wars and rumors of war. This is just a precursor that will lead us to the great battle that's going to take down here. But this is not it. If Russia invades Ukraine, this ain't the war that the Bible speaks of being the war of Armageddon. This is just a war and rumors of wars that will lead us to the war down here. So they all dreamt, but all the brothers and sisters dreamt about Babylon being hit by nuclear missiles. So let's just quickly get a preset for that. So go to Jeremiah 50, 51. Let's quickly go to 51. And we know it's the Medes that's going to be the main contenders in this, right? We know that. So this is what they basically dreamt and saw, in a sense. Thus says the Lord, Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me a destroying wind. So they saw that destroying wind. They all saw the mushroom cloud. It's amazing. They all had that dream over the space of a year, and none of them in that family knew that the other one, or each one of them, had that dream. None of them knew that. That's the amazing thing. The sister in the middle says she only knew that her brothers and sister had that dream was on the day they did that interview. None of them knew. I tell you, the Most High is great, boy. But believe me, this is coming. So this is what they dreamt. They saw that destroying wind hitting Babylon the Great. They saw that. This is what they saw. They saw the missiles. They saw the mushroom clouds. She said she felt the wind, the fallout. That's what's coming. Verse 2. And I will send unto Babylon, which is, as we know, America, fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. So all this confrontation we see going on now between Russia and NATO, these are just the skirmishes that need to happen for when this happens, when Russia sends those fanners onto Babylon, when we get to this stage here, all bets will be off. It's as simple as that. And it's going to fan her and shall empty her land. That's what they saw in their dream, right? For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. So that day of trouble won't happen until this war starts down here. So sometimes I look at what's going on down here, right? And say, for instance, we know that America has army bases in Saudi Arabia. They have got bases in Jordan. They've got bases in the United Arab Emirates here. You know, America's got bases in Poland, Germany, not Hungary, Czechoslovakia. In most of these NATO allies, they've got bases. So America's not going to military come up against Russia if they invade Ukraine. But will they do something that will cause Russia to strike out against America down here or onto one of their bases? I don't know. That may happen at some point. I don't know. But remember, always remember this, right? Before this war starts down here, before Russia sends fanners to fan the land of Babylon to enter the ground, the MOTB, always remember this, the MOTB, the Charagma, must have gone global, must be in play. The mark of the beast, the microchip, must be on the global stand, must be on the global market, must be have gone global. Let's remember that. It must be part and parcel before this war comes to play down here. The microchip must be in play. The mark of the beast must be in play before the war of all wars down here takes place in this barren land. So let's go back. So those fanners that are going to be sent to Babylon, let's see, verse 3. Jeremiah 51, verse 3. Against him. So when it says, and I will send unto Babylon fanners, and they shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifted himself up in his brigandine, And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. So let me just quickly look at what that word brigadine means, because I don't think I've actually looked at that word brigadine. Jeremiah 51. We have a quick see what that word means. Verse 3 in the Hebrew, brigadine. Jeremiah 51. So we know the archers are the missiles. They're going to bend the bow that's going to come out of the silo. So these are metaphors of what's coming. These are symbolic. So brigadine, armor. Okay, it means armor. The coat of mail. Where else is it in the scriptures? Jeremiah 46 and 4. Okay, so it's armor. Okay, beautiful. So if we go back here, so when it says, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. The archer is the one that's going to be controlling those silos, those missiles, those nuclear missiles. And against him that lifted up himself in his brigadine, in his armor. Okay. And spare ye not her young men, and destroy ye utterly her host. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, which is symbolic for America, the wise men of America, and they that are thrust through in her streets. So that's what the young lady saw in her dream. She saw them being thrust through in their streets. That's what she witnessed. That's what she saw in her dream. All three of them saw that. For Israel has not been forsaken. So, and when it says Israel, it's talking about just the elect. Let's just not let this twist. It ain't talking about all of Israel, just the elect of Israel. Nor Judah of his power, of the Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Because only the elect are going to be delivered out of America's destruction. And also, as we know, the elites of the elites will be hiding in their bunkers. Flee out the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, which is what's coming. The destruction's coming for her iniquity, for her wickedness. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render upon her a recompense. So, the time of Yahweh's vengeance is going to take place down here. This is just the time of Yahweh's precursor. This is what's going to make the relationship. If they do invade Ukraine, that's what's going to make the relationship so poor that when this time comes, oh, there's no holding back. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon has been what? Has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. What did the young girl say? She said when she woke up out of her dream, she said, no, she can't. She said, first she said that she was glad that she was in a dream, but when she woke up, she looked and she thought, she was thinking about all the things that are going on around the world, all of the rhetoric, all of the threats, all of the wars. She's saying she can see this being a possibility, she said. She said she hopes not, but she can see it being a possibility. Well, it's going to happen because Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. America has. That made all the earth drunken with her philosophies, with her ways, with her... What does she make the world drunken with? Also with this, right? I was looking at this earlier. She made all the world drunken with her neoliberalism. Babylon has made all the world drunken with her neoliberalism. What is it? It is generally associated with policies of economic liberalization, privatization, deregulation, globalization, free trade, and austerity. America's made all the world drunken. Neoliberalism is generally associated with policies of economic liberalization, including privatization, deregulation, globalization, free trade, austerity, and reduction in government spending in order to increase the role of what? The private sector. Who controls the private sector? That's the New World Order, right? That's the Illuminati. In the economy and society. That's part of the wine that the world have drunken of America. The other part is to do with democracy, two-party system. The other part of America's wine that they've drunken is its culture, its love for homosexuality, is another part of the wine that the world has got drunk in from America. So it says, however, the defining features of neoliberalism in both thought and practice have been the subject of substantial scholarly debate. Oh, it's mad. So you kind of look at the countries that they're showing you here. I'm not going to read all of this. I just thought I'd just bring this up because it just kind of came to mind. So they've been drunk in that wine. They're drinking that wine of Babylon, and that's part of the wine of Babylon. Also, the part is a two-party system that goes back to the Roman era, to the plebeians and the patricians, which was a two-party system during the Roman era. Because remember, this is a reincarnation of the Roman Empire. So it says, Babylon, which is America, has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. And we just give an example of them being drunk. The nations have what? Have drunken of her wine, of her philosophy. So that also goes into when you talk about the image of the beast. Well, the image of the beast is the drinking of the wine of America's philosophies. That's a major part of the image of the beast. The image of the beast ain't Caesar or Borgia. It's not white Jesus. White Jesus is not the image of the beast. All right? Only a few countries, you know, mainly Christian countries that worship that image, that, you know, that look at the Caesar or Borgia, white Jesus. That's not the image of the beast, just in case people say, is that the image of the beast? The image of the beast is this golden cup that the whole earth is drunken out of. The philosophies of America, the philosophies of Esau, Edom, the New World Order, that's the image of the beast. That's the cup that the world is drinking out of, because the New World Order, corporate America controls America. Corporate America, the corporations control the American government, which is the corporations are controlled. Oh, that's the Illuminati, that's the New World Order. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So are we seeing that? Russia is mad with America and the beast and the image of the beast. The Russians don't believe in homosexuality, remember. They don't believe in, you know, this so-called Western philosophy. They have their own way of thinking. Russia is part of capitalism, but it's a communist country that has capitalist ways, but it doesn't believe in the West's idea. There is a fight that's going on amongst the top elites of the New World Order. Because remember, the elites are from everywhere. The elites, Russia's got their elites, China, there's elites in Iran, Saudi Arabia, Britain, France, Germany, Poland, Spain. They're everywhere, the elites. Algeria, Libya, Egypt, Morocco, they're everywhere. It's just that the head elites, the head of the pyramid is Esau, the Edomites. They are the head elites. But there's a fight going on at the top. That's why they can't get Russia to cooperate about Ukraine. Russia's not having it. They can't get them. They want to bring Russia fully into this neoliberalism Western idea. And Putin is refusing it because he knows certain cornerstones of that neoliberalism they'll never accept in Russia. And part of that is the alphabet community, is being fully acceptance of the alphabet community. And we know the Russians are not into that. They're not having it. So let's go back. So they've all drunken of the wine, the image, the drunken of that wine. The image of the beast is the wine, the New World Order. That's all part of the wine. So now the nations are mad. They're mad, upset, vexed. You're not having it, family. So what those two sisters and brother dreamt was this: Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. And we know she can't be healed, right? We would have healed Babylon, which is America, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. For what? For her judgment, which is the war of all wars, reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. It's gone all the way up to the Most High. The Lord Yahweh has brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh, our power. Let's declare that. We are declaring the power of the Most High on the highways and byways. And when we're doing these edifications, these live edifications. Verse 11, make bright the arrows, which are your intercontinental ballistic missiles. Gather the shields. So that's what they saw. They dreamt of the bright arrows. That's what they saw in their visions. The Lord Yahweh has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which is Putin and his merry men. Putin is the king of the Medes. Remember, this is all the Medes territory. Iran was part of the Medes, even though the Iranians are the Persians, also known as the Carmanians in 2nd Esdras. They are the Persians, the Iranians. But this was part of the Medes Empire. The Medes Empire stretched all the way up into Russia, which was considered no man's land back then. But the king of the Medes, right now, the king of the Medes would be who? Would be Putin, because he is the top man. He is the king. He is the president of Russia. He is the one that's going to lead all these merry men. He is the king of the Medes. So the Medes would be, the Medes territory used to go all the way up into Russia. Cause let's see if we can quickly bring it up. Let's see if it'll show us. And that's also, that land was also known as Gog and Magog, just so you understand. Okay, Medes map. Let's see if it brings it up. Let's see if it brings it up. Just so we can see. We'll get a quick look at that's the Persian. Okay. So, as you can see here, the Medes went all the way up into the Caucasus, what we know as modern day Iran, ex-Soviet Union countries. That's where the Medes land used to stretch. That's as far as it used to stretch, all the way up. Just so people can understand. Let me get another one. There's another one here to show you. It went all the way up there. Scythian, that's the Black Sea. So all this was known as the Medes land here. Let's get another one. Let's have a quick look. So there's another one. Did we look at that one? I think we did, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Is there another one here? Because remember, Cyrus the Great was the king of the Persian and the Median Empire. So, just so you understand, so when we're looking at Russia today, this used to be part of the Medes' lands, what they conquered, territory. All the way, Turkey, Iran, these ex-Soviet countries, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Russia. This was also known as Gog and Magog, before it was known as the land of the Medes. So the king of the Medes today is Putin. Now, if Putin is the prime minister, the president that's still in, if Putin is a president that will be in power when this war takes place, whoever's sitting as a president of Russia will be considered the king of the Medes when this war happens. So he says, the Lord has what? Raised up the spirit. Remember, he's raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes. So what did the spirit of the king of the Medes, Secretary of Defense, say? Russia, the king of the Medes, warns it's run out of patience while doubling down on demands, right? That the US, which is Babylon the Great, and NATO, which is the beast, have said they won't accept. So this is the foreign minister for the king of the Medes right now. And he's warning them. Why? Because the Lord has put the spirit on them. This is why I said the fallout that's going to take place between Russia, if they invade Ukraine, is going to, when we get to the War of Armageddon, when we get to World War III itself, things are going to be so bad prior to that, leading up to that. So part of that will be what you see happening now, just so you understand. This is not the war of Armageddon if Russia invades Ukraine. It's just going to lead to the tensions being so poor when they get round to that war. So right now, the spirit has been put on the king of the Medes, right? This is the king of the Medes foreign minister, like second, in a sense, the second in charge. His name is Lavrov, right? It says here, Russia's top diplomat said Moscow has run out of patience with the West. The West represents NATO, the beast, amid the Ukraine crisis, because that crisis will lead to the tensions being at its lowest point ever. The West has been driven by hubris and has exacerbated tensions, Lavrov said. Russia has gathered a massive force on Ukraine's border, prompting fears of an invasion. So that invasion it's not the war of Armageddon, it's not World War III. That invasion would just be wars and rumors of wars. I can't say it enough. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov on Friday warned that Moscow is running out of patience with the West as Russia continues to levy demands that the US, which is Babylon the Great, and NATO, which is the beast, remember America's the head of NATO, have dismissed as non-starters. So, has the Most High put the spirit on the king of the Medes? He actually has, because that's the king of the Medes foreign minister. So when it says here, the Lord Yahweh has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, they've raised up their spirits. They're getting them more to that point of thinking. For his devices against, ultimately, the Most High's devices against who? America, against Babylon. So to raise up tensions now is so that we can get to that point of the war of Armageddon. But we understand the mark of the beast must go global. The microchip must be out there. I've always said this. I believe Esau is going to create a 9/11 event to be able to push out that microchip on a global scale, to force people, in a sense, to say there's no choice. You're going to have this thing because we're at what they call it like level 4 security. Forget what they call it when they say they're at what they call it, the security levels in America. Let's see if we can find it. Oh man, I'm loving today. The spirit is working with me today. All praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakak Dash. Security levels in American government. Forget what they call it. Is it 4th level? No. They got it. I can't think what it's called, man. It doesn't matter anyway. They have certain levels. They say we're at level 4. They say like we're at level 5. Let's see if it comes up. I'll say level 5. All right, what are the 5 levels of security? That's security checks. Yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. But anyway, so this is what's happening. The spirit has been put on the king of the Medes for his devices, the Most High's devices, his ultimate plan, his ultimate part of the prophecies is against Babylon, America. To do what? To hug it and kiss it? To flood it with roses? No, to destroy it. So those 2 sisters and the brother all had the dream of nuclear destruction in America. One family, 3 members of the same family, and each one of them didn't know the other one had the dream, as you saw in the video clip. Because it is part of the Most High's plans to destroy America. Why? Because it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. That's what we must understand. It is the vengeance of Yahweh. We could grab that precept by Adam Nana. Shalom to the Akiyams on the comment board. Adam Nana, Isaiah 13 and 17. Behold, absolutely. That's a beautiful precept, brother. I will stir up the Medes. Who are the Medes? The Medes, once again, are the Russians. The Most High is stirring them up properly. I will stir up the Medes against them. Against who? Against NATO, the beast. which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So they've run out of patience. They don't give a shit about silver or gold. They're doubling down, they said. Fuck it, they want, sorry, excuse my language. Hey, listen, they want them out. They want the full written agreement that they're not going to join NATO, that the Ukrainians don't join NATO. So that's what he's done. He's stirring up. He's stirring up. It's like Bob Marley's song, isn't it? Stir it up, little darling, stir it up. Stir it up, my Lord. Stir it up, my power. Please. Stir it up. Get their tensions high. The love lost between the two. It's beautiful. So, let's quickly go to Revelations anyway. We might as well, because that was their dream, innit? Their dream was they saw America being destroyed by nuclear missiles, right? They said it, not me. Let's just go to the point. Let's just go straight to the point. Revelations 18:8. Therefore, I need to clear my throat. Let's get this bottle of water. Sorry, I'm getting excited. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. So that's what they saw, right, in their vision. Death and mourning and famine. And she shall what? Be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judges her. Oh man. Sometimes I have to really wonder about these church banging Christians, you know, that they can't see the simplicity that this is talking about the United States of America. I mean, what do they think this is talking about? This is talking about nuclear missiles. Each one of those people that had a dream said that their dream was the nuclear destruction of America. They was dreaming about where they were living being destroyed by nuclear bombs. They were witnessing mushroom clouds. How is it that you can't see that this is ICBM territory we're talking about? That's what's going to burn them with fire. How is it they can't see that? See that? ICBM arrow. They even know that they call it, that's what they call a missing missile, right? Interception of ballistic missiles. ICBM arrow. How can they not know this? I mean, this is what this is about. It's all about these. These is what's coming. These missiles, these arrows are what's coming. That's what they saw. They saw these arrows. These are the Russian ones. Look at that beast, boy. Ooh. Look at that. That's what's coming to America. You know that movie with Eddie Murphy, Coming to America? Well, this is what's coming. Intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's what's coming to America. Just so you understand. And you're going to have this. This is going to be the outcome of it. That's what she said she saw. I mean, she said she saw the mushroom cloud, right? What about this don't they get? What don't they get about this in the scriptures, really? What don't they understand about this? But our people will stay forever lost in those churches. I want to have get a good look at that. So her plagues are going to come in one day. Which are those missiles? Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judges her. Who judges who? America. Esau. What does Esau think? And the kings of the earth who committed fornication with her, those that drank her wine, that were drunken with her wine, her philosophies, her love of homosexuality, her love for democracy, her love for neoliberalism that we was talking about earlier, her love for what they call economic liberalization, her love for privatization, deregulation, globalization, free trade, austerity, her love for the private sector taking over, which is a new world order, her love for a two-party system of voting, her love for her culture, her music, her movies. That's the wine. Those that have committed fornication with her. All of those that do business with her. Everything that I just said. And live deliciously with her. Shall what? Shall bewail her. The only person that ain't going to bewail her is who? This is the only person that's not going to bewail her. Is this guy here. The king of the Medes. And his merry men. Like Iran ain't going to bewail her. But all of these are going to bewail her. Germany, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Belgium, France. Even though these are going to burn the whole with fire. Even though these guys here are going to fire nuclear missiles on America. They're going to bewail her. Because that was their golden hen. They're going to bewail America. That's a, yeah, there you go. That's the spirit. Adam Nana, we'll bring it up in a minute. They're going to bewail America, but they're going to burn her as well. Her partners are going to burn her, just so you understand. All of these countries there that possess nuclear weapons. France does, I believe France does. I don't believe Italy does. I believe Germany does. As we know, Israel possesses nuclear fire weapons as well in this war. They're going to bewail her. They're going to burn the whore. And the kings of the earth who commit fornication and live deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her. They're going to cry when they shall see the smoke of her burning, because they're going to see it on their TV screens. They're going to see it in her TV screens. Okay, grab that precept here. Adam Nana, Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns. These are the 10 horns. Let's just get this in focus so you understand what's going on. And the 10 horns. So these are the 10 horns here. NATO, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, Italy, United Kingdom, Belgium, Netherlands, Austria, Czechoslovakia. These are the 10 horns here. The European Union. That's who it's referring to. All right. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, because the beast is NATO. The head of NATO is America. These shall hate the whore. Who is the whore? The whore is America. Symbolic for America. And shall make her what? Desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So these America's NATO allies, like the 10 horns, the beast, they're going to hate the whore that sits on the beast. That's led them all this time. And they shall burn her flesh with fire. Why? Why are they going to do it? Not because I said so. It's because for the Most High, Yahweh has put it in their what? In their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And that's what's going to be fulfilled when all the bets are off. So we go back here. They're also going to bewail her. Even though they're going to burn her skin, they're going to burn her skin with fire. They're going to bewail her. They're going to bewail her. They've committed fornication. They've lived deliciously. All of these nations have lived deliciously with America. Inside all of this shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. I still got stuck here. Come on, stop messing me around. There you go. When they shall see, as we said, the smoke of her burning, doing what? Standing afar off for the fear of her torment. So they're going to be standing afar off all the way, watching it on their TV screens from their safe havens in Europe. And remember, certain places in Europe will be hit when the war starts down here. Not when this war starts. This is going to be a local war between these two. But when the war starts down here, some of these places will be hit as well. France, United Kingdom, Italy, whatever countries are going to be involved in, which they all will be, and that possess nuclear weapons, will be hit. There'll be cities hit. London got nuclear weapons, they'll be hit. France got nuclear weapons, they'll be hit. Germany, they'll be hit. So when the war starts with Russia and the NATO, some of these countries will be hit by nuclear weapons. This war that's going to happen between Russia and Ukraine, that's not the war of Armageddon. That's just Russia flexing its muscles because it's tired of Europe expanding NATO all the way to its borders. This is just Matthew 20:24-6, wars and rumors of wars. This ain't going to be the war of Armageddon. This is just going to make sure when this war happens down here, the tensions are going to be so high, so high. They're going to be standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon. That's what those two sisters and brothers saw in their dream. They saw Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. That's what they saw. Simple as that. So anyway, I'm going to call it a day there. Let's get that last precept from Adam and Anna before we shut this down. Jeremiah 50:14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about. All that bend the bow. All that bend the bow. Oh, she's Babylon here. All that bend the bow. Shoot at her. Spear no arrows. For she what? For she has sinned against the Lord, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Simple as that. So keep an eye on what's going on. Like I said before, Russia warns the beast about expanding its nuclear weapons further into the east. Will Russia invade Ukraine? We'll see. Is the invasion of Ukraine the war of Armageddon? No. If Russia invades Ukraine, it will just heighten tensions between the West and Russia. That's all it'll do. It's just going to heighten tensions. So when this war starts down here, there is no coming back, turning back. That's it. Simple as that. So, on that note, I pray you are edified by today's edification. I want to give all the praises and the glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Like I said, it's all about keeping an eye on what's going on. Keep praying, keep your faith. Like the Lord says, boy, wars and rumors of wars. As I read it out earlier, and I'll say it to you again. What we are seeing now is just wars and rumors of wars. Like the Lord said, like I will repeat to you again, all these things must come to pass. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, family. But the end is not yet. Not yet. Just don't be troubled by it, but it's coming. It's as simple as that. Just keep an eye on what's going on. More people are having more dreams of the end, of the destruction, of the war of Armageddon. As you saw from the videos, you saw from the newsreels what's going on. So we just got to keep our faith in the Lord, boy. Keep our faith in the Lord. Yahweh Shai. Simple as that. So, shalom, shalom, shalom. As I always say, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who are leading this word in truth and spirit and sincerity. And salutations to all of the righteous Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters out there that are able to receive this truth in the name of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahushua. Barakatah. Keep safe, family. Till tomorrow, Lord willing. We should be on the highways and byways and a live one tomorrow as usual. Lord willing, Lord willing. All praises. Shalom, family. Shalom.